Good afternoon, everyone. This is to go over, my apologies, I should have stated my name. My name is Professor Dean. Again, my name is Professor Dean. And I am going to go over return of Title IV. This is for the SLS students. This may be for students going into college, so that you are aware of what return of Title IV is. So earlier, we covered the college catalog. I covered the college catalog earlier, and as I stated in my prior YouTube, you need to go to your college catalog online or in paper and review important parts such as financial aid, withdrawals, what it says about when you begin your classes, the classes that you are required to take, the classes that you need to take. So if someone gives you some classes to take and you want to verify if those are the classes that you need to take, you can verify it using your college catalog. When I was going to college, we had to have our college catalog. At least we got to become very good friends with it because it was our book of law. It's our Bible, as some people would call their Bible. It is something that you need to understand. You may not need to read it all, but when you have questions, when you have scenarios, you need to be able to refer back to your college catalog. But this section is to specifically, and I say the word specifically, address return of Title IV. So when I talk about return of Title IV, I am talking about what happens when you get grades of W and F. Now, the return of Title IV rule, as I remember it, you need to pass over 60% of your courses. Again, it's over 60% of your courses. So if you are over 60% rather in attendance, and let me clarify that part, in attendance, then you get to keep your financial aid. Now, there's another percentage rate that sometimes is pretty confusing in financial aid that talks about passing over 67% of your courses. It is what we call a Department of Education rule. It is a Department of Education regulation. So you need to pass over 67% of your courses in most colleges. Sometimes they refer to over 67% as 66.66666666, or you just got to be at the 67%. All right? So let's do a simple calculation, and then you will see what that means to you. So let's say for your college classes, you're taking ENC 101, you're taking MAT 1033, you're taking Psych 2012, you're taking SLS 1106, and you're taking PM 22. So ENC 1101 is a 3-credit class. MAT 1033 is a 3-credit class. Psych 2012 is a 3-credit class. SLS 1106 is a 1-credit class. PM 1022 is a 2-credit class. If you add that all together, 3, 6, 9, 10 plus 2, that's 12. So we understand how we come up with the computation of 12 credits. Now, when we look at the computation of 12 credits, let's say I did not pass my ENC 1101 because I stopped going to classes. I just says, I don't like that professor, and I stopped going to classes. And at the end of the semester, the professor gave me for ENC, they gave me an F. Let me get a different marker. I want to make sure we get this clearly. For that ENC class, we got an F. So that means we have how many classes? 9. We're going to put it right here. 9 divided by 12. So 9 divided by 12 is what? 3, 4. Wow. We passed with 75%. That's pretty okay. Now let's say we got an F on this class and we failed the PEM 1022. So the PEM 1022, we also got failing grade. So let's say we got a W. Now, when I did return of Title IV, and the scenario may have changed. The scenario may be adjusted. So that is why you need to check your college catalog. Because if return of Title IV rules are changing, you need to read it. So let's say you got an F, you got a W. So we have 3, 6, 7. So now we're passing how many credits? 7 out of 12. What is 7 divided by 12? So we know 6 over 12 is 50%. So 7 over 12 is a little bit above 50%. Right? So when you calculate 7 divided by 12, if it's over 67%, then you're doing pretty good. But if it's under 67%, then guess what happens? You have failed for that quarter under 67%. Now, depending on the school rules, if in your first quarter you maybe have a leniency, or when you reach up to 30 credits, or when you reach up to 30 credits, they may start counting these against you. But be very careful with failing classes, because when you fail classes with W's and F, it affects your GPA. It affects your academic progress, both in financial aid and both for your GPA. And sometimes you can have a great GPA, but you still don't get financial aid because you fail because of financial aid rules. So you say, Teacher Dean, what is the financial aid rules? Professor, what is financial aid rules? Rule number 1, 2.0 GPA. Pass your classes with over 67% completion point. Number 3, when you reach up to your 60 credits in most community college classes, you can take an additional 30 credits. However, when you reach over that, after that 90 credits, no more financial aid. In that case, we need you to 1, move on to university or earn a degree. You need either to move on to a university or earn a degree. So, this is why Professor Dean would say to you, do not keep switching your classes and switching your majors over and over and over and over again. Because you need to maintain that GPA. You need to maintain that scholarship. You need to maintain the funding that you are receiving. So I'm going to go to the last section, which I wanted to cover for the class. Now let's talk about this part, your points. For most college classes, so I'm not going to say all, for most college classes, you need a 900 to 1,000 points to get an A. B, 800 to 99. So it's 800 to 899, that's a B. 700 to 799, that's a C. 900 to 1,000, A. 800 to 899, B. 700 to 799, C. So if you're in one of my classes and I give you that as a grading scale, that's what you go by. Look at that scale. 900 to 1,000 A, 800 to 899 B, and 700 to 799 C. So if you see these numbers, you know what your grade is going to be like. You don't have to call me and ask me about my grade. You don't have to text me and ask me about your grade. You don't have to find me to ask me about your grade. I told you 900 to 1,000 A, 800 to 899 B, 700 to 799 C. And as a college student, you are required to do what is in your syllabus. If the work wasn't assigned, it is not countable. If the work was not assigned, it is not countable. We don't give you extra credit. We don't give you extra credit. We offer you extra credit. So please understand, ladies and gentlemen, you don't get extra credit, you're offered extra credit. So let us make sure we understand. This is college. You don't tell the professors, any professor in any school, what to do. Be very careful with your language. Even if English is not your first language, I teach ESOL. You got to be careful with your language. Things may become misinterpreted. So remember, every student, we want you to succeed. We want you to get an A, but focus on what you are required, not what you think. And in colleges, I've been through it over and over and over again. Students have come up to me and says, Miss, if I join a club and I do extra work, can you give me extra credit? I said, baby, you're telling me to give you extra credit. Your job is to do what is required on the syllabus. What is required when assigned. Don't make work life harder for yourself. Do what is required, not what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get an A. You can maintain an A. But you must do what is required. College is challenging, but it's not difficult. College is challenging, but not difficult. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow what is required. Make sure you check your points against this grid. Now, if you have missing work, you need to check whether you were using Blackboard, whether we're using Canvas, whether we're using D2L. It doesn't matter which one your professors use. You need to look up how to check your points. Most professors give you a starting point and says, look up, this is how you look it up in Blackboard. This is how you look it up in here. So if you have missed assignments, maybe they have zeros, maybe they are blank. And if you have something blank, you need to follow it. You need to follow through. All your professors want you to do well. We don't want you to waste your money and repeat any classes. So I'm going to beg you, I'm going to ask you, you follow up. And please, ladies and gentlemen, remember what I said in my first video. Jobs and other classes is not good excuses. Every professor class is important. Every job is important. Your professors may have 4 or 5 jobs too. So when they leave your class time, they do other jobs. Not every professor is a full-time person. So you can't sit there and think they're going to do what you want them to do. They're hired to teach maybe 140 students, 80 students, and it doesn't matter the number per semester. They can't focus on any particular student. They like all their students in the same batch. And they can't show preference. But we all have to understand they all have busy lives, busy jobs. Some of them have to write papers. Some of them have to write thesis. Some of them have to do additional work. And they do have a life outside. They have been very nice and gentle and kind to you when they offer you help outside of their office times or outside of any time. Remember, the final grade rests with the professor. They're all being nice to you. The final thing lasts with the professor. So be very careful as you go through college. How you respond to them, how you work with them, how you talk with them. I have had students in the past try to demand grades out of the professors when they fail to read the syllabus. Extra credits can be removed because you have too many absences. Extra credits can be voided because you fail to follow the guidelines. And the only person on that syllabus can grant you the extra credit is your professor. And I mean grant you, I mean offer you. So you need to understand your catalog, you need to understand Return of Title IV, and you need to understand your grades. You also need to look up on your school's website, where do you see your grade? For MDC, you should be able to see that through your app. For MDC, you should be able to go to academic advisement screen and look at the drop down. You see your grades. You don't need to contact the professors to find what is my grade. You need to research. You have an app. You have the website. Type up what is my grade at MDC. MDC grading. It should lead you to the My MDC page. It is different from high school, and we get it. It is different from high school, and we understand it. It is different from your country, and we'll support you. However, we want you to learn to look up some things for yourself. It's part of being in college. It's called research. Research is a beautiful thing. That is how we know what's true on the internet. That's what we know is false on the internet. We do what we call fact checked. Your facts are inside your catalog, and your facts are inside of the school website. It's not what you think. It is what is written. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your college experience. Be good. Have fun. Learn well. And do what you are required to do to get that A. All of us are going to make it through college together. All of us are going to make it through college. While you're studying, I am studying. All of us are students together, and we're going to make it. but we're required to do our part. So again, the schedule is right here. Check your points. Check your points and read it towards the grid, and you know where you're falling right at this time. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.